Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would finally take a stab at doing my first book review. Now I have never done one of these before, so please be nice to me, and also it won't hurt to try, and practice makes perfect. Now that I've got that disclaimer out of the way, let's get started with the video. Alright guys, so I read my first paranormal book as an adult and I really wanted to talk about it. I'm gonna try not to spoil anything, even though I really want to. I read episode 13 by Craig DeLuey. Let's talk about it. I'm gonna read you the little plot synopsis I wrote down. Episode 13 follows the crew of a ghost hunting reality TV show, Fade to Black, as they investigate the Foundation House, a site of bizarre 1970s paranormal experiments where scientists vanished. Told through formats such as emails, transcript, logs, the crew, led by true believer Matt and skeptical Claire, uncovers unsettling secrets, face terrifying personalized manifestations, preying on their insecurities, and descends into a Lovecraftian nightmare where reality blurs, leading to a potentially mind-bending, reality-bending climax. Alright, I'm gonna be honest. From the beginning of the book to the middle of the book was just good enough to keep me reading. The characters were really likable, and a lot of things that they were doing and saying were just really interesting, and just nothing crazy happened for a little while. But the lead up to the end of the book, I think, was worth all of the time I spent reading this book. I do have several questions after completing the book, and although that is annoying to me, those are also the best kinds of stories to read, in my opinion. But I also kind of wanted to get into the dislikes that I had about the book. And I know I'm trying to convince you to read this book, but just stick with me. Like I mentioned before, the book was just good enough to keep me reading, and I do feel but I strongly feel like more explanations could have been made and more plot points could have been made. The ending was the best part. However, I felt like I mentioned before, all the reading I had done was just the perfect amount. Like, it was just so worth it to me. The ending was really heartbreaking and it made me tear up and I cried, and not a lot of books can make me cry, but this one did, and it was just a little jarring. It touches on loss, abusive households, traumatic experiences, and also like the question we all ask, like, is there life after death? The ending kind of did make me have sort of an existential crisis at one point. It was like 3 a.m. when I finished reading the book, and I was in the living room by myself, and I just started thinking, and I went down a rabbit hole, and I started to freak out a little bit. And I also just I stayed up late because I didn't want to spend any more time on this book. I have a bunch of sort of already started books that I just did not want to go into 2026 with. But this one, I'm so happy that I read when I did. It just felt like the right book at the right time, and I'm so happy I finished it. And I do feel like the book could have been a little bit more scary. There were a couple parts that were pretty terrifying to me, but I do feel like it could have been scarier. I don't think there was any limitations. There was a lot of swearing in the book, and there was slight body horror, but not too much. It's very light, but I do feel like we could have had more of that, and I felt like more of that would have been better than some of the things that went down in the book. I'm trying to convince you to read this book because it was good. I just have my complaints about it. Also, it left off on a huge cliffhanger, and I don't like that, and I need the second book. I need a new book. Craig DeLuey, what are we doing? What are we doing? I need it. I need it now. I need it as of December 30th, 2025. I need it now. This was my first paranormal book that I've read starting back reading since I was a child. and it has definitely made me more interested in the paranormal genre. The book was very unique because it wasn't just written like a story. It didn't have like chapter 1. It was emails, interviews, journal entries. It was describing camera footage that the crew was filming, and it was just so unique. The layout of the book was so unique. There was text messages, and you really got to like, because of that, you got to know more about the characters, and I really appreciate that. And I do want to read more books like that, because it was kind of as if you were watching a TV show, but just like written. And I was really fond of the layout. It was also, because of the layout, it was just so quick to get through. Obviously, I'm very busy, but when I had like downtime, I would take chunks out of the book because the pages, a lot of them didn't have much on them. So you were just flying through it. And that's another thing I liked about the book. The text was also the perfect size in my opinion. Also, I think the cover is just stunning. It's really cool, like the creepy hand in the window. Some of the pages just look like this. There's not much on them at all, but the whole story is just filled with like journal entries as well, and that like really gives you more context about the characters that are in the story, about the cast or the crew that's making this TV show. And I really appreciate that because I feel more connected to characters when they give us details about them that aren't really relevant to what the main story is, but they kind of give you an idea of who they are as a person. And because of that, I grew very fond of a specific character, and his name is Jake. Jake, I love you. I love you. Although I really enjoyed the book, I am gonna give it a 3.5 stars. This book was actually recommended to me. I've mentioned this before. This book was recommended to me, not to me specifically, but by Possessed by Horror here on YouTube. Her name is Sarah, and she makes some of my favorite book content and just movie content in general. And she recommended this book to me, and it was my most anticipated read of the year, and I'm so happy I finally got to get my hands on it and read it. I trust anything that woman says, so I bought it a few months ago, and I've had it, and it's taken me a few months to read it because of how busy I've been, but I was also reading Frankenstein at the same time, so I just didn't have a lot of time to finish it. And I'm so happy that this is the book that I left my year off on. I know this wasn't a very descriptive book review, but I didn't want to spoil anything, so if you want to know what happened, go read the book. Hey, it's me, I'm editing. I completely left out the fact that I did immersive reading with this book. I listened to the audio while I read the physical book the whole time, and the audiobook was phenomenal. I highly recommend doing immersive reading with this book because that audiobook was so cool. It really added to the book, and it helped me like visualize the atmosphere a little better. So please immersive read with this one. I'm begging you, it is so worth it. All right, I think I've jabbed my jaws long enough. This outro is already too long, so I'm gonna skedaddle, and I will see you guys in my next video. Subscribe.